Hi, welcome. I'm so happy that we have so many online tonight, and I know there'll be a lot more coming online as we go along because this is, we're going to cover some interesting subjects. I know we've been trying to find tools and different trainings that people have asked for, and so um, one of the things people always want is, well, how do I get started? How, where do I, where do I start? I don't even know where to begin. And so we're going to start a series here over the next several um, weeks, probably the next 12 weeks. And we're just going to take you step by step by step. I mean, it's going to be very detailed, very slow. I mean, we're gonna fire hose you, but we're gonna try to take it slow enough so you can have something to work on that week, and then you're ready to go for the next week to get the next step. Um, and so that's the key to this what we're doing here. So, like tonight, we're talking about how to determine your market. What business do you want to get into? What would you like to do? Um, so tonight we're going to talk about what what you want to do, how you want to get involved in business, what business you want to get involved in. There's several aspects to this, so that's going to be just the topic for tonight. Also, each week we're going to have a different traffic method. Also, now tonight, because we're kind of doing kind of an overall briefing of exactly what we're going to teach you over the next 12 weeks. We may not do a traffic one if John he got stuck in Oregon, so I can't guarantee. Usually, when he's down there, it's hard even for him to get a good cell phone signal, much less a internet connection somewhere. So if he isn't able to come on, we're not going to do the traffic portion. But each week we're going to talk about traffic, a traffic method that you can use, and then we're gonna go step by step on how to start your business. Now, the title for this, or the emails that you probably saw, said how to start an online business that'll make you $50,000 a year or a month, $50,000 a month. Not so just to keep my lawyers happy, I cannot guarantee that you're going to make $50,000 a month. I can't guarantee you're going to make $50,000 a year. I can't guarantee that you're going to make $1 this month or in a year, because I don't know you. I don't know what you're going to do. But if you will follow what we're going to teach you, then you have every opportunity to make $50,000 a month. And if you follow what we teach you, you very possibly within a few months could be making well over $50,000 a month. So, but the first things I want to point out is that there are no easy buttons. There are easier buttons, but there are no easy. It's not just a push and it's done for you. But I give you some behind the scenes secrets that are going to help you a lot. This business is a business, and you have to treat it like a business. Like a very good friend of mine, he first time he got into a network marketing business, he went home and told his wife that he had invested $50,000 into a business, and in his mind and in his and to kind of motivate himself and his wife into the business, he treated it like he had invested $50,000 into this business. And even though he had only invested, less than $1,000. So that's what you have to do. You have to look at this business as a real business. This is not, it's, you can easily do this in an evening, on the weekends, rather than sitting around watching TV, watching sporting events. None of those things are going to make you any money. I'm sorry, but it'd be nice if I could watch football all day Sunday and somebody give me $10,000. Probably not going to happen. I wish there was. And but if you're really interested, and if you're really serious, then if you will follow all the steps we're going to be laying out over the next few weeks, you can easily make that amount of money. Now, I don't know how many of you understand my story and where I come from. Obviously, I don't live in a dump. I mean, you can see part of my house behind us here, and it's quite nice. It's like we got all this stuff, and my wife likes that. So I'd be actually happy with a big screen TV and a big recliner and a big office, just a big office. But she likes a lot of cool stuff. So that's so all this French provincial furniture and Capodimonte and Swarovski and all the paintings, and we have thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars just in artwork and stuff. So though you can have those kind of things. So but my background is I grew up in an extremely poor neighborhood. In fact, my parents, they actually had two different houses that had dirt floors. The first house they ever lived in had a dirt floor. Now, my mother was a really clean nut, and you can imagine that drove her crazy. And then we had another one. We had my folks filed bankruptcy because my sister and I were very sickly, and so my folks had to file bankruptcy. And back in those days, they literally took everything you had. They would just take it all. So we had a dumpy car, and we just headed out until my dad could find a job. And so the first house we had there was a old travel trailer. I mean, old, like from 1930s or something. And then they had added this shed onto the travel trailer, and it had a dirt floor, and we had no furniture. We were able to get some milk crates, and my mom, tried to cover it up and tried to make it look, like a house. And we were able to get a couple of beds, and so we had, my sister and I, and my parents had someplace to sleep. And but I mean, we really had nothing. I mean, that's poor. That's really poor. And all growing up, I mean, I lived in poor neighborhoods, very what they was called Hoover's Orchard, and pretty tough area. And I'm not a tough person, so I'm a lover, not a fighter. Sorry. And so I got beat up some, but I didn't really get into that, but from a young age, I knew that I could accomplish more. I could do things that others had done because others had done them. And that's the key. If somebody else can do it, then you can do it. It's not rocket science. And matter of fact, I am a rocket scientist, and I have worked for Rocketdyne, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You can go from being totally poor at this point to being very wealthy. And I know many people who've done this. So and even in the last few years. So it's not something that, well, you could do that 20, 30 years ago, but you can't do that today. No, you can. I know several people that have lost everything. They've filed bankruptcy. They've lost their homes here, especially recently in the last 5 years. And they've been able to take these principles these things that I'm going to teach you and go from zero to, I know several that are making over 50,000 a month and well over 50,000 a month. So, it can be done. And in fact, I got one friend that's probably making close to $1 million a month, I would imagine. So it can be done. It can be done. But you have to get this straight, and then you have to do something. If your head isn't straight, if you keep telling yourself that you're a failure, you're not going to succeed, no matter what you do, it's just not going to work out, or other people, because other people are going to tell you this too. But if you tell it to yourself, then you've already lost. So you have to get over that first. I was reading Success Unlimited magazines when I was 12 years old. I had an opportunity, and I worked with W. Clement Stone, and looked that up. He's super famous, really, if you were alive 50 years ago. But W. Clement Stone helped Napoleon Hill get restarted again, and then I've worked with Donald Trump. So I have a good background in which to help you and to teach you, if you'll just listen to what we're gonna do. So I have the background. I've been in network marketing. If you go to rharrisblog.com, you'll see that I've been blogging about network marketing and about marketing for several years now. Before that, I had an online business that I was, and we'll get into that a little bit more. And before that, I had brick and mortar stores. Before that, I was selling door to door, and I was selling Kirby vacuum cleaners. And if you've ever picked up a Kirby vacuum cleaner, they're extremely heavy. Okay. I did not run in one of these van pools or anything. I just literally carried this thing door to door to door and offered to clean people's carpets if they'd just let me do a demonstration of the Kirby for them. So it's not, I didn't just overnight, become wealthy. I also went to school that whole time, and it took me 20 years in college. Yeah, I think it was about 20 years. Let's see, from the time I was 17 until, so 1971 to 1995. I think it's more than 20 years. About 24 years. Okay, 24 years I went to college also. So I have a master's degree in electrical engineering. That hasn't hurt me either, because, but that also slowed me down from being more successful. I could have been more successful if I hadn't probably gone to college, but I'm not telling anybody not to go to college. It's in this, if you can't make it, if you try, if you really try and you can't make it, then in the business world, and some people are not, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But if you can't make it in the business world, then you're going to have to fall back on a job. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. So you think about that, and you think about, okay, well, I've got to go to school. I've got to pay a lot of money to go to school just so I can get a job that is restricted. Now, and this is the key. You look up the salary for a position. That's what that position pays. Here's a lower end and a higher end. And so if, like I'm an engineer, so there's a lower end, and as you get more schooling and more education, it goes up. But they show you the limits. You can go and look on any job you want. You can see what the limits are. Do you want to really be limited in how much money you can make? Is that really the way you want to operate your life? I do, because I test airplanes. It's a wonderful job. I get to test airplanes. And so I have a cool job. and I get to travel around, go, been to Peru, been all over the U.S. Because a lot of it, I had a class, I had a high security clearance, so I couldn't leave the country, but I got to travel a lot around the country and test the airplanes. And it's, so it's kind of a cool job. But if you're a waiter, if you were a dishwasher, if you work in an office, maybe it's not such a cool job, and maybe you don't want to be doing that your whole life. Think about it. I mean, I started, I looked at myself after I'd been working for a few years, and I always worked something, I always had a little business going. And I kind of looked at myself. I was married and had a child, and I said, I've got to do this for the next 30 years. Is this really what I want? Because I went back and forth from having a business and from being a salesperson to doing the education and the job thing. And when you look at it and you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the next 30 years, maybe more, because your lifespan's getting higher, the Social Security is getting, you may not have Social Security when you retire. Is this really what you want? So is a job. So what we're going to cover over the next 12 weeks is step by step on exactly how to go from zero, absolute zero, to making several $1,000s a month. And it's really not that hard, but you've got to really work at it, and you've got to really be determined. So let's go ahead and get started. So tonight we want to talk about what business you want to get into. This is very important because it's just like a job. If you go to a job you hate every day, is this really, is that really what you want to do for the next 30 years? Is a job you hate, a boss you hate? I would really encourage you not to do that. If you're working somewhere you hate, try your darndest to succeed at this, okay? Because and find something that you really have a passion about. So that's the first key, is find something you have a passion about. And then model somebody that's doing that already. Because like I said, if somebody's already been successful at something, just do what they've been doing. Don't reinvent the wheel. You do not have, in fact, it's the wrong thing. People think, oh, I've got to find a market that nobody else has gotten into yet. No, that is the worst thing you could do. Do not get into a market no one else has ever done, because as Russell Brunson says, that makes you a pioneer with arrows in your back and your face flat down in the dirt. Okay. I like Russell. He's a pretty cool guy, if you know him. You don't want to be the pioneer. That is not the way to make money. That's the way to lose a lot of money and to be very unhappy. So don't come up with a new idea that no one's ever had. No, what you want is you want to find something that you love, and then find somebody who's doing it and making a lot of money, and then do exactly as they are doing. Then once you're starting to make money, a lot of money, not just $5 a week or something out of it. Once you start making quite a bit of money, because let's say the nutrition industry, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, okay? And if you could just get 1% of that, you would be making millions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars, okay? Because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. But if you get into something that, let's say you want to start a restaurant chain, you think, okay? So you open up your first restaurant, and you find that you're working 80 hours, probably 120 hours a week. It's like a sinkhole that you just keep throwing money into. or if you just come up with some new idea, you think, oh, this is going to be great. You don't want to do that because you don't want to be the pioneer. You don't want to be the one with the arrows in your back, and where you've had to learn all the hard lessons. Find somebody that's already done a lot of homework and do what they've done, because let's say like in the nutrition industry, there are companies out there that make millions of dollars in the nutrition industry, so they can afford to spend thousands of dollars testing this and testing that and tweaking this and tweaking that. You don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. You are going to have to follow the model, do what they've already done, because they've already found out, well, this doesn't work, this does work, this doesn't work, this does work, this doesn't work. Follow exactly. I don't mean to copy exactly what they're doing, but do exactly what they're doing. This is really critical. I know everybody thinks, oh, I want to find an industry that nobody else is working in, that nobody has found yet. There's no competition. No, you want something that there is a lot of competition, because you want something that you can find somebody you can go out there and model. If you're going to be successful in the beginning here, you don't want to be risky. Okay. You want to find something that's working, and you want to model it as well as you can. And there are tools out there that you can get that will show you exactly, what they're using for advertising, how they're, where they're getting their traffic from. There are tools out there that will show you every single area, so you can do exactly what they do. Now, do not copy, because these companies also have a lot of money to come after you. Do not copy what they're doing, but if they've got a banner that has a sunset in it, well, you get a banner that has a sunset in it. If it's a banner or an advertisement that's got a pretty girl in it, then you get a banner or an advertisement that has a pretty girl in it, but not exactly. And copywriting is the other thing. Do not copy exactly what they write, but be very close to what they're writing. The same style. Get try to get the same keywords. Try to pull, their keywords out. Those are the things that you really have to do. But first of all, let's find what it is you want to do. What is it you like to do? And this is, I have this book called 13 Steps to Success. And if you contact me, and I might send you a copy. I'm in the middle of rewriting it, so it may be kind of in pieces right now, but I can send that to you. But in that, I show you exactly how to find your passion. It's very important that if you're going to be in a business, it's got to be something you have an interest in. If you want to do something about golf, and you don't have any desire to golf, you're really not going to be in tune with that business. If you're going to do something about fishing and you don't like to fish, how good are you going to be at that business? So what is it? Think about it. What is it when you have free time? What is it you like to do? And maybe you're so busy with the kids and the work and chores and all this, maybe you've forgotten what it is you love to do. You're going to have to pull that back in. When you were 18, 16, maybe, what was it you wanted to become? Think about those things, because it's very important, if you're going to get into business, that it's something you have a real passion about. And why is that important? Because somebody's going to knock you down. They're going to come along and they're going to whack you good. Okay. You're going to come along and you're going to have a little success, and then something's going to come up that's just going to knock you down in the dirt. And you're going to say, well, is this worth getting up for? Well, it won't be if you don't have the passion for what it is you want to do. So if you want to be successful, you're gonna have to find the things that you're really passionate about, and then try to find a way to make money with that. Okay, but this is very important. Find something you're passionate about. I'm going to look at my notes here. Let's see. Now, if you've already got a business, this is some ideas. Google the ideas if you already have some ideas, Google them and see what you find out there. Go to YouTube, go to Amazon and find out, is there products already in that space, and what's out there and what is it selling for. You've got to do a lot of homework. If you get really, if you want to do a digital product, then go to ClickBank. They have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of products out there on ClickBank. And just go to clickbank.com. It's free to join, and you can just go in there and look around. Just click on Marketplace and just go through and just look. They have all these categories on the side. Just pick some categories you like. Just go in there and start seeing what's there already, and seeing that, can you, and we might go through one of those tonight. Go to JVZoo. They have products there. Find out if there's any forums or newspaper or news groups, magazines that are associated with whatever it is you're interested in. So as you're coming up with these ideas, you're going to have to do that. Now, this is the first internet marketing thing that I did, big time, was I thought, okay, I'm going to get, now this was back, 10 years ago. Yeah, something like 10 years ago, I think. Maybe more, 10 or 11 years ago. Anyway, so I decided I wanted to get a website and I wanted to start selling some kind of products. So I set up, paid somebody to set up the website, because back then I really didn't know, and it was kind of difficult to really set one up. But I can show you how, you can do that pretty easily. We'll do that in a follow-up lesson. We're not going to cover that tonight, obviously, because we'd be here all night. So I was going through and I was like, okay, well, what kind of business do I want to get into? Because it's kind of difficult, and to try to figure out what it is that you enjoy. And I wanted to do this with my wife. And so one of the things back then they told us to do is just go through the phone book and the yellow pages and just find a topic in there, or because you have every in the yellow pages, you had all the want ads and stuff, or not want ads, but I mean advertisements in there. And so we went through page after page after page after page, and it's like, okay, well, we could do this, or we could do that, and it's like, then I looked around, and this is what you need to do. I looked around and I said, sweetie, what is all this stuff you collect and all this stuff that you have in the house? And she said, oh, that's Capodimonte. And I said, I never heard of Capodimonte. What is it? I mean, I know it's all over the house, but I don't know what it is. And she said, it comes from Italy, and it's high-end porcelain and stuff. And it's like, okay, right, that's interesting. Obviously, she had a passion for it, because our house is full of it. In fact, you can see right over here. This is a gazebo, and you can see the back. And it's really pretty in the front, but that's the back of it. And so I said, okay, let's look that up, because that's obviously not in the phone book. It's not in the yellow pages. In fact, I had never heard of it, even though the house is surrounded by it. And I also knew it was quite expensive. And so I started investigating, and I found that there was one basically one dealer in the United States. Now, see, this is back in the days where I said, oh, I want to find something that nobody else is doing. That's not always a good idea, because I didn't know what it was. There's a lot of other people out there didn't know what it was either. So it was it was kind of a marketing nightmare, because I was trying to explain to people what it was, before I could sell it to them. And because I don't know how many people collect this type of stuff, or like it in their house, and it is very expensive. It's hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars for these things. And so, but I knew she had a passion for it, and so I went out and I found this guy, and he said, I get every day somebody comes along and they want to be a drop shipper for me. They want to build a website, and they want me to ship to their clients and their customers. And he said, and I've told every one of them no, so why should I not tell you no? Well, see, there comes I'm a salesman, so I convinced him that by partnering with me, that we would I would benefit him in, and I Mark, told him, how I was going to be able to benefit him, because, and this is something I learned later on working with Donald Trump, is that, in a negotiation, you have to be a win-win situation. Anybody who's studied Stephen Covey, they understand that the win-win situation is the only way to really negotiate, because if both parties don't come out a winner, then you have you have a bad situation, and you're not going to be able to negotiate with that person again, because they're going to feel like they've been taken advantage of. And a lot of times you're going to have to deal with the same people over and over again. So you always want to find a win-win situation. And I had read Stephen Covey, but I really learned that when I worked with Donald Trump. He's probably one of the best negotiators I've ever met. And so I convinced him that it would be to his benefit, and I showed him exactly how we could do that. And sure enough, so I did, and so there was almost no competition out there for this, but and so as far as that went, that was great. But then I had to market a product that 99.9% of the people didn't even know existed, and I don't recommend doing that. If you're gonna get into business, find something that you can model somebody's already done all this hard work, because it took me a long time to actually start making sales. Now, I was the next to him, I was the biggest Captamonte dealer in the United States, and but it was, if I hadn't had the marketing training that I have, the sales training that I've had, and didn't work my tail off, I would have just gone bankrupt pretty much, because I ended up, the drop shipping thing was all right for a while, but then as I started, moving a lot more product, it made more sense for me to actually buy the products directly and then ship them. That way I kind of took the middleman out, because we could order directly from Italy, and so he considered me kind of like a partner, so we could do that. And so that ended up working out all right, but it was very difficult. So I don't recommend doing that. So that's what I did. So the ideal business is something you're super passionate about. It's got a great demand and some pretty good competition that you can follow. Good ideas, this is something I would recommend. There's an aging population out there, so anything that that you can actually direct it toward an aging population. And in fact, I will give you I'll actually give you an idea that I've been working on, because uh, I've been I've had to get around with a cane here lately because I've got a hip that's caused me a lot of problems. So, and I said, this cane, it could be so much better. Okay, so um, so I'm going to give you this idea, and you can go to a Chinese manufacturer and you can go ahead and have this designed. Okay, so let me grab this. Okay, so okay, here's your typical cane, right? Okay, nothing fancy. And it's about as cheap as you can get, and you can get these made in China very cheap. So you can adjust it by twisting here, and then you can push the button and you can slide it up and down for different heights. But some of the things that you could do is you can add, and I have the manufacturer that you can buy it from. You can add. See, it has holes along here, so you can make it different heights. But you can drill through one of these holes, and you can add a handle on the other side that flips up, and so it's out of the way. Because there's not another company out here that's got a giddy up stick, and so when you're trying to get up out of a chair, you can have another handle here, so you can help to get you up. The other thing is, and there's only one company I've seen doing this right now, is you can take this and have a screw cap on here, put a AA battery in here, and then put an LED light in here. Okay, so you can take that idea and go to a Chinese manufacturer, and they will make that for you. Okay, you just draw up the plans, and then you could market this. Okay. But this is just one idea. Okay, this is something I was going to do, but because you're on and you're watching, one of you, and I know most of you won't do this because that's just the way it is. I could give you a $1 million idea, and most of you won't do it. I already know that. Okay, but all it takes is one. Okay, just one person. And it would be very simple to do. You add a handle that flips up, flips down, okay, and then they can use it as an extra handle to help get them out of a chair. And put a little light in here with a button right here on the side, so that they can see their way. And if they need to, put a key in the keyhole in the door or something when they come up to the house, if it's dark, there's whatever. There's so many times that just having a little light would be so handy. And so there you go. Okay, you have something that'll make you several $1,000s a month right there if you just follow what we're going to teach. And if you want to, get in contact with me, and I will show you how to get a hold of a Chinese manufacturer. They're easy to Google it. Okay, it's really easy. Just Google Chinese manufacturers that make medical equipment. It's about as easy as you can get. Okay, so that's one idea. Let's see. And let's see. These are small. Oh yeah. And so, as we were talking earlier, so you want to find something that's like a multi-billion dollar industry, because it's so much easier to model what the top company is doing and get a little piece of that than it is to find something that's totally unique. And maybe so if you find a $1 billion market and you get 1%, what is that, like $10 million? So, or you can find a market that nobody's done, and you might make $100 a month, but you're going to fight harder. You're going to work harder by doing that than you would if you just modeled what somebody else has already done that's already been successful. So that's really that's the main thing you need to do. So then the other thing, okay, so now you're going to market things, and I want to share my screen. I want to try something, and let me see it. I'm gonna switch over. I'm going to try a video. If the video does not work, I'm going to switch right back, and because I can't watch what's going on here and what's on my screen at the same time. So so I'm just going to switch over there. I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to switch back over here. You tell me if you can see it. If not, then we're just going to go on and walk through some stuff, okay? So let's share the screen. Let's try this. Okay. Now I'm going to, let's see. Oh, no, don't want to do that yet. Let's just go to, let's see. Oh, here, case study. Okay. Oh, I think I already had it open. Okay.
Welcome to this webinar, to this case study webinar. This is the first part of a multiple series of webinars. And today is all about talking about the roadmap, about the idea of these webinars, what you can expect. And very specifically, we want to have a look at doing keyword research. So,
okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. And go back to where's my hangout? Okay. Okay, could you hear that or see that? Type in the chat box. Could you hear that or see that? Not everybody at once. Not really. Somebody out there. Okay. Only getting the audio. That's what I was afraid of. Okay. Thanks, Chris. Okay. So we're not going to do that. We'll go back and we'll just go into the application. Okay. That's what I was afraid of. Videos do not work well on here. So hopefully you can see my screen. And so it says, hi, Roy, what would you like to do? So we're going to start a keyword research. Now, what's cool about this is you can type in a keyword phrase, or you can type in a website. Let's just type in. Just see what happens. Huh? Okay, so if we type that in. I don't know. I must be taking a lot of bandwidth because this it's not doing anything. Oh, crud. Okay, well, I don't know if I can show you or not. Let's type in. And I hate just to talk the whole time, but I was hoping. I don't see anything going on. Okay, may not be able to do it. Okay, let's put in a keyword like healthcare products. Providers, products. Okay. So healthcare products, like we were talking about the, don't know if this is going to do anything either. Okay, but this is really a cool tool, and you're really going to need this. If you can find some company, and I'm not sure if this one does it, but I put it in the chat that I'm not getting anything out of this. Okay, I guess I've got too much bandwidth with the webinar going, so it doesn't seem like it's going to do anything. But you need a keyword research tool because this is how you're going to find your market. It'll tell you what your market is. I mean, a good one, because you don't want to just find out how many people are Googling or typing in a certain keyword. There's so much more that you can get. So let's just go back to the, I won't stop sharing. We'll just talk again. And so, maybe I can explain this well enough. There's, so if you want to model what somebody else is doing, you want to find out exactly how they're doing it. So, and I would recommend that you don't get a physical product as your first product. I would find a digital product that you could sell, and then find and so the best place to go for that is actually go to ClickBank. Go to clickbank.com. Like I said, it's totally free, and find something that's working extremely well. That there's that's got a gravity, and we talked about this last time. Gravity over 100. Okay. That gives you an idea of how many people are into it. So go to ClickBank, and then you can actually find out what they're using as their advertising. So this, I would, so the main expense you're going to have to go into is you're going to have to buy the product. Okay. Because you're going to have to see how the sales process works. Now, next week, I'm going to cover how to do that. Okay, how you can actually research, and you can find out exactly, where they're advertising at, how they're advertising, how they're how they're marketing, how they're getting their traffic. So so next week you really want to be here because we're gonna get into that. But this week I just wanted you to figure out what it is you want to do, and if you can find a keyword research tool. Now, Google used to be really good, but then they put their Google keyword research into Google Planning, and you really have to have an AdWords account to do that, and it's not as effective as it used to be. If you can find one that you can just use for like a week, that you don't have to pay for, just try it. Just go out there and search and find the niche. That's what they call them, the niche that you like, or the area that you want to get into, and then start researching it with a keyword research tool. Now, if you don't have anything, I would definitely recommend this one I was showing, and I do have it up there in the just take that link, and yes, that is an affiliate link. So if you actually click on that and you go there and you buy that, I would make some money. So I have to tell you that. That's have to be honest, but you're not going to get a discount by going directly to them. So this. I would recommend you do that too. If you ever buy anything, become an affiliate for it, so that if you tell somebody else, if you tell somebody about a movie that you really like, or a car that you really like, they don't give you any money for sharing that information. But online, if you find a tool that you really like, and this tool, this Swiss Made Marketing, really is a great company. They've got great tutorials. I wish I could have shown it to you, but you can really. Okay, yeah, all these are recorded, by the way, Chris. and you can, they'll all be on YouTube, by the way, too. So you watch them live. You can go and click the link up to 48 hours, and you can rewatch these webinars, and then they'll all be out on YouTube. So if you just type in the name of the webinar, it should be really easy to find. Just type my name, Roy Harris, and the name of the webinar. It should come right up. It shouldn't be very hard to find. So they'll all be out on YouTube, and so it's all free. But you need to go and find a keyword research tool that really works. The one that you can actually put in like a website, so you can find out. You can find out what keyword research or what keywords they're using. Okay, so you want to borrow as much as you can. I'm not going to say steal. You want to model and borrow as much as you can from somebody else who's already been successful. If you will do that, I mean, this whole job becomes so much easier. Do not be the Lone Ranger. Okay? Everybody wants to, it's like, I got to find something that no one's ever done before. No, you don't. You will die. Okay? And this is why so many people are not successful. Find something that somebody's already done. And then we're going to show you how you can borrow and model what they're doing. Okay. And so that's what we're going to talk about next week. And I want to keep these less than an hour, around an hour. And so right now, if you have any questions, I'm going to, just open it up to a few questions, but just the next week. So next week, we're going to talk about that. So this week was how to find your niche. And next week is how to market to that niche. Okay. And then you need to build some skill levels. There's certain skills you're going to need, copywriting skills, or you're either going to have to build a skill, or you're going to have to spend some money on a product that gives you that skill. And then we're going to figure out how to find customers. Hey, you can have the best product in the world. It's the best mousetrap in the world, but if nobody's beating a path to your door, hey, you're still not making any money. Okay. So then we're going to find out about customers, and then we're going to work on your mental image, some mental exercises. So then we're going to show you how to set up your business, how to create a business entity, and why you'd want to do some things like that. And then we're going to go into marketing. Every week we're going to have a traffic section. We're going to talk about a little bit about traffic, because you're probably already into something. And so you want to learn a little bit about traffic, but then we're going to take you step by step to build a successful business, not one that's making just a couple of dollars. And yeah, okay. So Chris will even admit, Swissmig Marketing SE Cockpit is a terrific tool. It's probably one of the best, and that's why I like it. And I wish I could have used it. That's the bad thing about Google Hangout. They don't give you a lot of bandwidth. You can't do videos inside. I knew I couldn't do a video I thought maybe I could do if I downloaded it and then showed it, but it still didn't work. And even I couldn't even get the tool to come up. So then we're going to show you how to build a team, because you can't be a one-man army. You're going to have to need to bring in other people. Now, if you have a network marketing business, you don't even succeed unless you've got a whole lot of people under you. So so we're going to talk about building teams, and then we're going to talk about how to keep track of what's working and what's not working, because you can have some of the best ideas in the world, but until you know exactly how to keep track of and how to check and find out what's working and what's not working, you're gonna lose a lot of money and lose a lot of time. So we're going to cover that, and then we're going to start making sales. So if you follow us over the next 12 weeks or so, you know, at the end of these 12 weeks, you better be making some money. Okay. And because we're going to give you little hints along the way. So glad to have you on. And if there's no other questions, I am going to go ahead and call it a night. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, and tell your friends if you know, you want to have some competition out there. I would tell my friends and get into partnerships with them, because the 2 people are 10 times smarter than 1. 3 people sometimes can be all right. 4, 5, but you've got to all have the same mindset. Otherwise, it just becomes chaos. So, but 2 people, if you're in the same, if you got the same vision, and even 5 or 10, you know, you can bring as many as you want, but you've got to focus them. And we'll cover that in the team building part of it. But it's all about putting egos behind you and focusing on the vision. And if you can do that, you can lead an army. Okay, because look at all the great leaders out there. That's all they did, is they got everybody pointed at the vision, and they succeeded massively. Okay, love you all. Thank you so much, and have a great night. We will see you next Thursday, same time. Try to be here, because you're going to get more stuff as we might start giving some free stuff for people to show up. Okay, so take care. Good night.